Hey, what's up? It's Jay Faith on IPMNation.com. Be sure to catch me live on June 26th, my birthday, at Carlo Rose in Pelham, New Hampshire, for the Misery Loves Company Showcase. And the following day, June 27th, alongside the one and only Trev Rich, Joey B, Masterpiece, Kingpins, D-Tension, and many more at the Last and Safe Deposit in Lowell, Mass., hosted by DJ Slipwax. Be sure to get your tickets before they're sold out. Big thanks to everyone for their support, and we'll see you soon.
IPMNation.com.
Hey, what's going on? This is Jay Faith, live on Local Outbreak on IPM Nation. Check them out now.
Everybody, welcome to another Local Outbreak here on 100.1 The Planet and the IPM Nation live station. We're here at the studio at 50 Canal Street in downtown Laconia, New Hampshire. Come on by. A lot of cool stuff going on here as usual. Melissa's changing the place around, adding some stuff. The studionh.com is a website if you want to check it out online. Better yet, come on down. And we do always encourage people to support local businesses as well as the local music scene. So come on down and say hello to Melissa. And, of course, we're sponsored by Central NH Events. If you need a DJ for your event, go to centralnhevents.com. Tim Martin does a great job and is a big part of what makes this show possible. And, of course, Tweak Sound and Mastering. If you check out tweaksound.com, Mr. Matt Marcil, he's right in Concord, New Hampshire. He does recording and production, and he's also been a frequent guest on the show. So I want to make sure we thank all our sponsors. And we have with us this week Jay Faith. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Glad you reached out. You took the initiative to do that, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
So not everyone does. Sometimes I got to chase people down and say, hey, you want to be on the show?
Yeah,
so
that's always fun.
Absolutely.
Trying to make your life a little bit easier as well as mine.
Yeah, exactly. So you got something new coming out, right?
I do. I got a new track coming out as well as a mixtape coming out. Hopefully by the end of May.
Yeah.
To be my second mixtape right now. Had a kind of a hiatus, just trying to figure out what direction I wanted to go with my music. I do have one mixtape already, obviously, called I'm Still Human. You can get that on datpiff.com. Available now for free download, so definitely check that out when you get the chance too. Yeah,
excellent. And why don't we play something now, and then we'll come back and chat for a few minutes. What do you want to play to start the show?
Yeah, definitely. The first one's going to be actually from that first mixtape. It's called Never Forget.
Okay.
So one of my first singles off of that mixtape there.
Cool. All right. So this is Never Forget from Jay Faith here on Local Outbreak.
This goes out to all the people who got others trying to change them, trying to take them away. Remember who you are. I know it's tough. People want to make you something different, but you know what?
1988, June 26. My future's been started, I've been thrown up in the mix. 6 minutes in, preaching a baptism, hoping God see my vision. Would he even take a listen? I can say it just made it. Yeah, just made it. So to the one who did it, I'm glad that he prayed it. Ever since then, it's always been about slips and the falls, getting back to the scenic route. Love has been love, can't find a definition. Whether family or friends, can I pass no permission? Listen to the story stemming from my pen, pump from my veins, now where to begin? Always had it nice, but my mind's on a new level. Introduced to him, yet face to face with the devil, sleep in the light, walk in the darkness, a ticking time bomb. Yeah, someone come and spark this blast.
Looking in the mirror, see your reflection clearer. Live life with no regrets, don't forget who you are. If your picture turns out blurry, focus in a hurry. Live life with no regrets, don't forget who you are.
Mirror on the wall, who you see when you look at me? Am I the vision version of the man that I'm supposed to be. Working on my life just to find some type of common ground. Looking for a father figure, but somehow he's not around. I can sit and ask why I be the man I became. Not surrounded by greed, faith still the same. Fam life to the point of being stable. Backstab time to time like Cain did Abel. Unleashing all the pain on the mic with no feedback. Pushing down a path, well I'm sorry I don't need that. Stuck with who I am, stuck with what I knew. Missed some opportunities, looking for the new J Face who I am. Imprinted on the brain, all that other nonsense I don't care to claim. If your picture's getting blurry, focus in a hurry. Maybe it's the lens, time to change, no worries.
Looking in the mirror, see your reflection clearer. Live life with no regrets, don't forget who you are. If your picture turns out blurry, focus in a hurry. Live life with no regrets, don't forget who you are. Looking in the mirror, see your reflection clearer. Live life with no regrets, don't forget who you are. If your picture turns out blurry, focus in a hurry. Live life with no regrets, don't forget who you are.
There became a point where the end was a slip away. Now I look back and I'm glad it was yesterday. I learned from experience, take whatever's given. If you wanna give it back, leave it with a ribbon. Smile in your face even when the cheekbones hurt. Backing down ain't an option, struggle even past the dirt. Cross black clouds in the haze, turned into a phase. Makes me appreciate the hard days. Good without the bad, nothing's ever learned. Put a bullet to my chest, build it up to let it burn. You threaten my life, you threaten more like me. Go and bring your demons, angels all above me. Only God can judge me, put me back in my place. No shame in my eye when you're spitting in my face. Strive to maintain, the plateau's kinda icy. I can almost bet you ain't met someone like me. Never.
Looking in the mirror, see your reflection clearer. Live life with no regrets, don't forget who you are. If your picture turns out blurry, focus in a hurry. Live life with no regrets, don't forget who you are.
Hey, what's up? It's Jay Faith on IPMNation.com. Be sure to catch me live on June 26th, my birthday, at Carlo Rose in Pelham, New Hampshire, for the Misery Loves Company Showcase. And the following day, June 27th, alongside the one and only Trev Rich, Joey B, Masterpiece, Kingpins, D-Tension, and many more at the Last and Safe Deposit in Lowell, Mass., hosted by DJ Slipwax. Be sure to get your tickets before they're sold out. Big thanks to everyone for their support, and we'll see you soon.
Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet. This is Matt from IPM Nation. We're here at the studio tonight with Jay Faith. And where are you from?
Originally from Lowell, Mass., born and raised for about 22 years. Just moved up to New Hampshire about 2 years ago with my lovely wife. Living together up here now.
So that's what brought you up here is your wife, or did you?
Pretty much, and just kind of a change of scenery a little bit. Again, originally from Mass.
Yeah.
But I had a buddy that lives up here too, so just a different change of scenery. Just kind of get away from everything a little bit, but still be close to family.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Is it much of a change in terms of your career, in terms of music, or I mean Lowell obviously isn't. It's not like it's that far over the border, but
I mean a little bit. I mean, again, I'm a little bit further away from kind of the hip hop central that is in Lowell. Some key hip hop heads that are down there. So it does make it a little bit difficult to kind of get down there between my work schedule and then obviously the commute down there. Again, it's not that far, but it still makes things a little bit tricky sometimes.
Sure. Does Lowell kind of have? I don't know much about the hip hop scene in Lowell. I mean, I know Lowell's always had a really vibrant music scene, but does it like kind of have its own self-contained scene, or because it's I know some people kind of when they talk about Boston and the Boston music scene, that kind of encompasses a big part of Massachusetts. I mean,
definitely Lowell's definitely coming up as far as the hip hop scene compared to what it has been in the past couple of years. I mean, you got guys like Joey B, Stupid Genius coming out, to Hank Enigma, all those guys over there. Ross Mack coming out too, definitely blowing up over there too. So I mean, you definitely have some guys slowly coming out the woodwork. And really putting Lowell on the map, which, there's a lot of great artists down there. It's just, kind of what can they do to get themselves really pushed out there and, obviously hit the Boston scene. A lot of them, again, from Lowell, but they tend to travel to Boston.
Sure.
Again, Boston's just kind of that bigger area for, that kind of scene.
Yeah. Well, Lowell in and of itself, too, seems like a good place to be because you got some good venues there. I know from over the years it's playing in bands.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's a college town, and you've got WUML.
Absolutely,
at
yeah.
UMass Lowell, which is now I don't know. Do they do a lot? I know they've always been really good about supporting local music at UML, like most college stations are, but some do it better than others. And
yeah,
they've always been pretty good about that. But what about hip hop specifically?
I'm not too familiar with it. I know they do have some segments, just kind of like this one here,
yeah.
That they kind of throw some people on, try to get some people in, things like that. But I mean, I'm hearing more from WUML though, as far as more approach towards the hip hop scene, more artists gravitating towards that, just to get themselves out there too, and then obviously again still more. Boston is still just a bigger genre of where you can tap into people.
Yeah,
I think so.
Oh, definitely, yeah. So how much have you recorded at this point? How much?
I mean, I have the original mixtape again. I'm Still Human. I started, a few songs, in between, then and now. That came out in about 2013, spring of 2013. I had a few songs recorded. Was trying to work on setting up an album. Things just weren't going the way that I wanted it to, and I really wanted to make it the way I wanted it to be, and not just kind of settle on just putting music out just to put music out.
Sure.
I want it to be my own thing.
Yeah.
Get my own beats, get producers, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Really set it up nice.
Oh yeah.
But things just weren't really falling into place. I was trying to work with people. It was. Some were unreliable, that kind of thing.
There's a lot of that in the music business. Yeah,
just back and forth. So, I kind of, still writing the whole time. I have notebooks upon notebooks, you wouldn't believe. But now I'm finally really getting back into it. Got some more, push from other people that I'm starting to connect with. Like my buddy Caleb, a.k.a. Rich Rhymes, Joey B. I've talked to him a few times. Mm-hmm. Really been pushing me, giving me advice, just info on how to kind of, market myself, people to talk to, that kind of thing. So it's really been a good motivation to just really push out this mixtape, and then, going forward, definitely starting with the album.
Yeah.
First studio album, really pushing for that.
Joey B's got that great track that Slicko played on Slicko's World. And what I forget now what it's called. There's just one word. Oh,
I'm trying to
hell
remember.
Is it? There's somebody else on it with him.
It's on the tip of my brain right now.
I'm drawing a blank, and I asked Slicko. I said, "Send me the MP3," because I had to put that in rotation. Cause it's so good. And I can't remember what the hell it is now.
Yeah, because I know we did. I mean, because they played also a track that him and I did, "Fatal Blow." I know you were somebody.
No, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not one word; it's two words. Okay, so you're on that too.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. See, I get it all mixed up in my head.
Yeah, that's
okay.
all right.
No, that's a great track, dude. Thank you. Really good.
Yeah, I was really hyped about that. I was, grateful for Joey giving me that opportunity to work with him on that and put that together. Shout out to Steve Nash down at Wonka Studios. Great guy on the board, so definitely have to give him a shout out down in Chelmsford. But song came out 100 times better than I thought it ever would have.
Yeah.
So definitely happy with that.
Yeah. Maybe you can send me an MP3 of that.
Yeah, definitely.
Because Slicko's slacking.
That's all right. We all got a lot to do.
No, I love Slicko. He's amazing. I want to ask you about your style in terms of lyrics, because I noticed in listening to your stuff, you don't swear a lot.
Not really. I mean, there's some songs I do. For me, it's more when it's needed, I guess.
Yeah.
When I'm really trying to emphasize something. I don't feel like it's always necessary for it. I mean, some people just use it more as fillers than actually trying to than trying to actually just make a statement with their music. It's just something to fill in the blanks of, maybe something they couldn't think of, or, really, I'm more into storytelling or, trying to get a point across, that kind of thing. So, I mean, I don't really feel it's necessary for me in my music, and, people can take it or leave it. That's just how it's just going to be.
Yeah.
Again, I do it here and there, but only, if it's necessary.
Yeah. I think that's cool, and that's not to knock anybody who does swear a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
But if you can, I do think it becomes a crutch for some people.
Absolutely.
I mean, not just in terms of lyrics, but just in life in general. I mean, we all know those people who like they use the F word like it's a comma,
Yeah.
like it's punctuation, and then they don't. And it's like they don't realize that when you use it so much, it kind of loses its meaning, and then there's no point in using it.
Right. And my take on it too was always, I mean, if I'm definitely hoping to get stuff on the radio, things like that. And when you play songs like that on the radio, I mean, half the song, it's bleeped out because obviously the radio can't play that kind of stuff. So it's like half the song you listen to either like blank airspace or a beep or a kind of tweaked little track. So it's like, I'd rather have people hear the whole song than bits and pieces of it because they got to wait till the album comes out or they hear it on iTunes or something like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
exactly.
I'd rather just one take it, have it just be right out there for everybody, plain black and white to hear and see.
Yeah. Well, we had Slicko on last week here, and of course, this also airs on 100.1 The Planet. So.
Yeah.
He's got that one song. We'll call it "Hit That Stuff."
Yeah,
and it's like
definitely.
I had to sit and edit that for for the FM version. And it's like, oh my god, it's a lot of work. But no, that's cool. Yeah, I wondered too because I remember. This was years ago, and you're obviously a lot younger, so you might not even remember this. But Chameleonaire.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you remember this? He kind of said it publicly that he had made a decision not to swear anymore in his raps because I guess because he felt like it was a crutch. And
yeah, I mean, it's your own personal take on it too. I mean, take it how you want. Do whatever fits you. I mean,
right.
I'm not here to change anybody or tell them swearing's not good. Swearing's good. Whatever. Everybody has their own. Their own vibe, their own style. They're gonna take it how they want. Do you? That's what makes you who you are.
Yeah.
And what people recognize you for, and that's who you are as an artist. Just run with it.
And the stuff that we're playing tonight, is this self-produced, or did you work with some other people on this?
Work with some other people. A lot of it is self-produced right now, but definitely with the album coming out, definitely going to be working more in the studio, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just right now, it's kind of again, like I'm still I'm starting to build up my contacts now with people, producers, engineers, all that kind of stuff. So a lot of it has been just all me, between recording to promotion. All that kind of thing right now. But again, starting to get some help from some people who I really think can really help push me in the right direction and be supportive with that, and not just kind of be, I guess, like part-time with it. They're ready to kind of, get the ball rolling, and, I'm here to help them out as well, too. So it's, it's a give and take thing for me.
Yeah.
If you're going to help me, I'm definitely going to push 100% for you.
Yeah. You have the right attitude.
Yeah, absolutely. And, just try to point people in the right direction, even if they're just coming up, just letting them know, hey, maybe try this, start with this, here's some people you can talk to. Because, I've been there.
Yeah.
So I know what it's like. So, it's like, people just want that opportunity to be heard. And, I'm just trying to, get that for myself as well as, just bring up other people too. It's a culture. So,
yeah,
better to connect people than to kind of push people away. You never know who's going to be that next person, or some kid who's sitting at home, just tapping on the beat pad or, freestyling or something like that. That could be the next big hit. But
True.
You don't give him that opportunity, then, he's never going to be heard. And, that kind of thing. So, I always try to push for that.
Yeah. Where do you record? Because everything sounds really pro. Do you record in a studio?
I actually, I do at home. A lot of my stuff is at home. The one I did with Joey B was at Wonka Studios. But most of the stuff is just at home. I got a good guy, that helps, master mix and master some of the stuff. But again, a lot of it is me.
Yeah.
But yeah, mostly just at home now.
Yeah. It's great that we live in an era where, where you can do that.
Yeah, seriously. The technology that's available now is incredible to just set up your own home studio. I definitely think, this was one piece of advice that I was given. I'm not the best engineer that there is. And, he told me, let the engineers be engineers. Let the rappers be rappers.
Right.
So, I definitely give credit to all the engineers. They definitely know 100 times more than me. And again, that's why I want to, get into the studio, let them do their thing, just make it sound, even better than what I could imagine it.
Right. But of course, you doing everything yourself, it gives you a level of control where, it's like one of the great things, and it's one of the things I enjoy about doing this show, particularly with hip hop artists, is, you can record some stuff that it sounds great and everything, but it also hasn't been through that sort of that major label conveyor belt. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because a lot of
I know
it,
what you're saying.
and not to knock anybody, but a lot of what you hear Because I go through phases as far as, I like a lot of different kinds of music.
Oh yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah, I think most musicians are like that. Most people like more than one kind of thing. But with like mainstream commercial radio hip hop, I go through phases where, sometimes I'll listen to, we'll say 94.5 in Boston. I'll go through phases where I'll listen to that quite a bit. And I'll go through phases where lately I'm not listening to it at all. Because the only hip-hop I hear that I really enjoy is local stuff, underground, unsigned, independent artists.
Absolutely.
Because what I hear on the radio, it's just not interesting,
Yeah, I mean, for me, I honestly, I don't remember the last time I put the radio on. It's more just what's on my iPod, honestly, or, Spotify, Pandora, that kind of thing. I mean, for me, it's just kind of, not to discredit, like, your local stations like Jam 94.5, definitely shout out to them, but just a lot of the same tracks being played.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there, especially local people, that could be on there just being promoted or something like that. Just really promote, especially the city, and people that are behind it, artists trying to come up. Definitely try to, get them out there too, not just have kind of the same, similar kind of stuff, you're putting out.
Right, exactly. I think there's an assumption that if everything doesn't fit into the current, I guess, formula, for lack of a better word,
right,
whatever the current formula is, and I think this applies to all genres, really. If it doesn't fit into that formula, then you have to assume that the current audience is going to be interested in it. And there's not a lot of risk taking in commercial radio.
Definitely, you definitely need those risk takers in there to just be like, I'm going to put this track out, and just get people's vibes from it. Because you never know, what's going to happen. And maybe some people are just like, that's the next hit.
Right.
But, we've just been waiting for it.
Right.
You just got to get it out there. I think they just need to just switch things up a little bit. I know they have like the launch pad and things like that.
Yeah.
But just like your average, like during the day, there's a lot of people that commute, between, from and to work, that, they're just hearing the same 5 songs throughout their whole commute. And it's like, mix it up for them. Let them kind of jam out a little bit with some, anything. It doesn't have to just be local, but, maybe some stuff that's going on, across the country, maybe even around the world, eventually.
Yeah.
I know that's going to take some time, but, try to get there at least.
And even Launchpad is it like Sunday night at 11 o'clock or something?
Yeah, something like that. And that's the tough part too. It's like, not many people are up, everybody's trying to, go to bed, get ready for work.
Yeah.
Unless you got those night owls that are out there, but
Right. Yeah.
It's tough sometimes.
Yeah. But with the internet too, that's another thing that's great about the era that we live in. I'm old enough to remember when you had to, people were selling, cassette tapes out of their cars and whatnot. And then, of course, if you were lucky enough to make the right connections, maybe you get a record deal or something. But now it's like you have all these different avenues to market your music and really, DIY it.
Definitely.
And there's always been methods of doing that. But I think now it's easier than ever in some ways. But, of course, then you have to find ways to distinguish yourself, too, from everybody else who's doing it that
exactly.
way, too.
It's tough. It's like, I'm promoting it this way, but, oh, wait, no, this guy's doing it this way, so now I have to switch it up a little bit. Yeah. Oh, okay, now this guy's doing it. Okay, now I got to bring it back to what I was doing before. Yeah. And it's like, well, what avenues do I market on? Is this website good, or is this one good? No, that one's not doing good. All right, now I got to take it down and switch it over. And then it's a constant it's a progression. It's a constant change. You always got to be ready to kind of just keep your head on a swivel, right, and just keep with the change, keep with the flow, and just kind of just go with it. Yeah. Again, just learn from other people. That's what I've been trying to do. The most, you're not going to learn just kind of just staring at the wall,
right?
Because you just sit in the same studio, night after night. Nothing's going to change if you don't get feedback. If you don't get, just people talking to you, it's not going to change. You're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, very well said. Well, let's play another track because you brought a bunch of tunes with you. What do you want?
Definitely. Next one, my first single that I'm dropping off of the new mixtape, Opening Remarks. It's called Between the Lines. It's my first single off of that one, so check it out.
Will this be? Is this the first time it's been played on the radio?
First time.
So this is a world premiere.
World premiere.
We like the world premieres
Absolutely.
Here on Local Outbreak. All right. So this, did you say Between the Lines?
Between the Lines.
Between the Lines. Okay. Between the Lines. Here on Local Outbreak on IPM Nation.
Sometimes we forget what people portray on the outside might not always be what they got going on inside.
I'm not saying I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark a brain that will change the world.
If I could change the world with every song I've ever written, will it change your perspective? Will you see my vision? What if I showed you every page that I saved when I slaved over every verse to tame this wild curse? I studied all my predecessors, developed what I captured. The end result, I dare someone to match it. Shaking hands with all my burdens got me yearning for a better life. Thought I'd never know what struggles like, I've been through it all. I don't need a medal signifying nothing. From nights that I was crying, wondering when my next meal's coming. Running from myself was a back and forth battle. Gunning for the wealth left me in another shadow. Blatantly unaware of the passion that I had for you. Scars that I had formed only made my heart crack in two. Staring at this bottle, drowned in my reflection. Soaked in my depression, my thoughts were second guessing. Let me take this time out to be perfectly honest. There's a lot I keep inside between the lines and the commas. Way beyond the pages and the ink within the bindings. Call up the jury, you can process the findings. Let me take this time out to be perfectly honest. There's a lot I keep inside between the lines and the commas. Way beyond the pages and the ink within the bindings. Call up the jury, you can process the findings. Yesterday, I was smiling and laughing. Parties were crashing almost as fast as my reaction. Every action was happening. I contemplate the value of the work I'm putting forth. Was it worth the price I paid? Could I have gone a different course? If I keep chasing tomorrow, do I have a set objective? Following the same rules I worked hard at protecting? I bust my ass to live. It's not enough just cheating death. Cause when my casket closed, will there be remnants of me left? I tried to forget every decision to bear a consequence. Holding every gain worth pertaining to common sense. Give and take was my mistake, thinking it was dual-sided. Flip a coin to seal your fate, then we'll see you still invited. Walk with me as I fumble, a reason to breathe. Can you conceive why I hold on to this misery? I'm a shepherd to a tainted flock, working around the clock, using every ounce of pain to make the trouble stop. Let me take this time out to be perfectly honest. There's a lot I keep inside between the lines and the commas. Way beyond the pages and the ink within the bindings. Call up the jury, you can process the findings. Let me take this time out to be perfectly honest. There's a lot I keep inside between the lines and the commas. Way beyond the pages and the ink within the bindings. Call up the jury, you can process the findings. Corners that I walk around tend to hide a different route. It's more than just a paper chase and trying to clear their minds out. One against a million plus, you assume I'm bound to take a loss. Push it to the cusp, giving everything you have to reach a pinnacle you fall from. Take it how you want, best believe I'm on that epic run. No longer waiting, be impatient in the doctor's room. The ride has been productive, be prepared to land soon. I've drawn on my conclusions, though my pencil's looking kinda dull. Illusions come protruding through the cracks, nice and slow. Only you can choose where you leave your fingerprints. Voice that echoes in the wind, add some type of relevance. I ain't trying to be a boss, I'm trying to be a leader. I ain't trying to dodge destiny, I'm trying to meet her. Slave through the day, it's a night where the gremlin wanna play. Each and every way. Let me take this time out to be perfectly honest. There's a lot I keep inside between the lines and the commas. Way beyond the pages and the ink within the bindings. Call up the jury, you can process the findings. Let me take this time out to be perfectly honest. There's a lot I keep inside between the lines and the commas. Way beyond the pages and the ink within the bindings. Call up the jury, you can process the findings. Hey, what's up? It's Jay Faith on IPMNation.com. Be sure to catch me live on June 26th, my birthday, at Carlo Rose in Pelham, New Hampshire, for the Misery Loves Company Showcase. And the following day, June 27th, alongside the one and only Trev Rich, Joey B, Masterpiece, Kingpins, D-Tension, and many more at the Last and Safe Deposit in Lowell, Mass., hosted by DJ Slipwax. Be sure to get your tickets before they're sold out. Big thanks to everyone for their support, and we'll see you soon.
Hey everybody, Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet. Do want to remind everybody, of course, that you can hear Local Outbreak a new episode every Saturday night at 9 p.m., and then there's a replay every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. on both 100.1 The Planet and, of course, IPM Nation on the live station. And then we do archive all the shows at IPMNation.com/Local Outbreak, where going all the way back to episode 1. We've been doing this for, I think... thought I muted my phone. We've been doing this for, I think, 6 years now. So You can go all the way back to the very beginning at ipmnation.com/local outbreak. And want to remind everybody, too, of course, we do the show here at the studio at 50 Canal Street in downtown Laconia, New Hampshire. TheStudioNH.com is a website if you want to check it out online. And as always, thank you very much to Melissa for inviting us to do the show here every week. Always a good time. And it's a busy place. It's a busy place. Things are good. Sales are good. So she's got some clothes in here that she just added recently. And we are talking tonight with Jay Faith. And how should people find you online, by the way? Because we're kind of talking about that before, different places you can put your music and whatnot.
I mean, I'm all over social media, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. It's at J_FaithOfficial, and that's the same for Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah.
Facebook, you can easily find me. Just type in J Faith. I'm right up there. So yeah, I'm all over there. I'm always updating my stuff, whether it's new music, just stuff going on in my personal life. Nothing too in detail, so don't try to be, some Facebook stalkers out there.
Yeah.
But, just, different stuff that I'm doing, whether, musically or, because, I mean, as an artist, your life is going to be out there. I don't try to put too much personal stuff out there. That's my own business. But,
yeah.
If I got photos or something, I'm still a human, regardless. As an artist, whether I make it to the top or crash down to the bottom, I still deal with the same things that everybody deals with, day to day.
Yeah.
I don't separate myself from anybody just because I do music or anything like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, definitely check them out. Add me. I add everybody that's willing to follow and check out my stuff. Definitely share all my music. Definitely, I'm all for it.
Yeah. Do you remember the first rap you ever wrote?
The first rap I ever wrote, I do, long time ago, and I remember recording it, and then I remember listening to it probably 2 years later. I don't remember the exact lyrics. I still have them, but I just remember listening to it and going, "What was I thinking?" I don't know. I was just like, wow. I was like, but you got to start somewhere. There's always,
yeah.
There's always that beginning period. I remember, when I initially first started writing, truthfully honest, what initially got me started in writing was, back when I was about 13, down at camp, my summer camp, we had, DMX playing all the time in the jukebox. And my buddy would do, they would have these little contests, and he would always perform DMX. So that was kind of the first start of it, get into hip hop. I feel like I, kind of came into hip hop a little bit late. A lot of people, obviously, talk about, when I was 9 and 7 and that kind of thing, but I just the way I grew up, it's just me and my mom. And, obviously my mom didn't really listen to too much hip hop that, so I wasn't really around that kind of scene. Until later on, but it was really DMX, and honestly, I wanted to be a Rough Rider. Crazy, and I was like, I would write raps, like thinking like I was in the Rough Riders, and like I look back on it now, I'm like, I was the most played out person, like the most fake, like 'cause I would rap about just stuff I didn't have, like stuff, stuff that I wasn't, but I wanted to be in Rough Riders, so
yeah,
and that kind of thing. So I was, that's kind of what initially got me started, but eventually I had, this buddy of mine who really kind of helped me kind of tailor, what I was trying to do with my music, and really kind of help kind of narrow it to, what I wanted to do. And that's when the real process of, writing and what I was writing about kind of began.
Yeah. You ever wonder when you hear people say, "Oh yeah, I started when I was 7 or whatever," if maybe they're exaggerating a little?
It's a good question. I mean,
I always wonder.
It's tough to credit it and kind of look back and check on that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you just take it, but it also plays out in, how they are now. I mean, if you start at 7, you're going to be able to tell now.
Yeah.
How well developed they are, or if they, if they were that into hip hop then there probably is some progression in there.
Right.
There should be, at least, I should say, if you're constantly around it.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, I started, writing here and there when I was about 16, but then officially kind of doing my own thing. I was working with a buddy of mine probably about 2007, 2008, and then probably officially solo, like doing my own thing completely, probably about 2012, summer of 2012.
Okay.
I had a friend of mine another friend of mine that I was working with. Because the original person that I was working with, not to bounce back and forth, just kind of unreliable, just trying to get to recording and stuff like that, because we were trying to do like a duo thing. It was just tough to get coordinated with him, and just the lack of motivation from him. I was like, I'm ready to record, and he's like, oh man, I'm tired. I just want to kind of just chill and be at home. And I'm like, dude, you tell me you want this, but let's go out there and get it.
Yeah.
But, that's besides the point. That's, ancient history. But, the other buddy of mine, he just kind of sat me down and he was like, I see what you're going through, man. He's like, why don't you just do your own solo mixtape? And I was like, I never really comprehended that. I was because it was always just, me and that other guy. But I was like, you know what? Yeah. He's kind of pushing me to do it. And, he's kind of has, backing me up a little bit. So I'm like, all right, let's do this. Yeah. And that's what eventually led to my first mixtape, I'm Still Human. So. Mm-hmm.
It's I can really relate to the whole trying to deal with somebody who doesn't have your motivation level. I've played in a lot of bands, and when you're in a band with 4 or 5 other people, you're inevitably going to have those different levels of hopefully nobody in the band is a slacker, but inevitably you're going to have different. Some people are more committed to it than others. Some people have a bigger vision than others. Some people want to be a star. Some people want to just play the local bar every Friday night, and it's really hard. And then too, it's hard when you go out and you're in a situation that you were in, where you're working with somebody who maybe you've got a really great chemistry creatively or whatever, but if they don't have the motivation to actually go for it, it's like the tree that falls in the forest. They could be the most creative, talented person in the world, but if they don't have the drive to,
No, definitely. I mean, it was tough because, the studio, the sessions that we would have just writing, it was incredible. We would just come up with some great stuff. But then, when we actually did get together, but then, just trying to get together, it was always just kind of just almost pulling teeth kind of thing. But, it is what it is. You learn, you grow from it.
Yeah,
and, you learn which people to work with, which people to not work with. But it helped working with him because he had that singing voice. I can't sing a lick.
Yeah.
But he had that singing voice, which helped, just add that kind of chemistry to it. I rapped. He had kind of a Spanish vibe to him too, so he could spit, in Spanish too. Oh. That kind of thing. So it was kind of just a good mixture of different things.
Yeah.
So it was kind of heartbreaking a little bit to kind of break away from that.
Oh yeah.
He's doing his own thing. I'm not sure what he's really up to right now, but it was definitely tough to just kind of lose that essence of it. Even just have that connect of, hey, I need a hook for this song, kind of a more music, high note kind of thing that I definitely can't do.
Yeah.
Can you help me out with this? But, again, you live and you grow, grow with it. Yeah. You just take it day by day and it's just all progression. As long as you're getting progression, that's all you can really hope for.
Right. And inevitably you meet other people who are talented, who do have the drive and whatnot. Yeah. So
absolutely.
Have you done a lot of collaborations?
Not too many. I was after I'm Still Human. I did a collaboration with M. Mills, who's from Lowell too. He was one of 2 people that was on that mixtape. But again, I was trying to find my direction as far as what I wanted to do, because I was like, I want to do an album, but financially, obviously, if you have money, it definitely helps out. And I wanted to make it quality. I didn't just want to put out music just to put out music. So, I was kind of trying to figure out where I wanted to go, and then, I started, drafting up some things. But then when I started making this mixtape, right now, I started, I planned everything out, did the track list, I did, who I wanted to have on there. Some things didn't pan out, but I have done, some other things with Rich Rhymes, things like that. I'm looking to connect with some other people. I actually have some guys over in Germany right now that I'm working with. They got I have a couple songs from them that I'm, waiting to, hear back on. Cool. As far as, when they're releasing it and that kind of thing.
Yeah, wow. That's good.
Yeah, they even want to shoot a music video.
Yeah.
Too, which is going to be pretty cool and interesting to see. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
So, even just, being over in Germany is crazy. I'll probably have to shoot it here, but, just being able to work with people over there who understand the same kind of thing that you're working with and appreciate what you're trying to do. I definitely try to promote them as much as possible anytime I see something. So again, it's a give and take thing. But again, along with what you said, just working with them, again, I work with Joey B. Definitely I've already kind of set up my album and kind of people that I'm looking to work with, the track listing and everything, and really trying to fit people in the tracks that are going to work for them too. I'm not going to put, people on a track that's not really them, because it wouldn't make sense. It's not going to sound right. It's just going to be weird and just a waste of time on everybody's part. So
yeah, is it going to be a full length?
Full length,
yeah,
definitely full length studio album. Definitely going to take my time with it, just make sure everything is right, just work with the right people. Again, I have Steve Nash, who I'm excited to work with down at Wonka Studios. Definitely want to hit him up. He's a monster on the machine that I've ever seen. Huh. So, I'm excited to do that. So that's probably where I'll spend a lot of my time, along with some other, studios I definitely want to get into too.
What about as far as live shows? Have you done much touring or what?
Again, not too much. Again, I wanted to have the material. For me, I wanted a little bit more out there before I start, doing shows and things like that.
Yeah.
I had a couple of shows that I did a little while back. One was for like the Boys and Girls Club, a couple other live shows at some other places. But right now is where I'm really putting things together and planning. I was kind of not all over the place, within the past couple of years, but I didn't really have like the direction as far as like marketing and finding shows and things like that. Whereas like now I'm more marketing focused now.
Yeah.
And trying to, find those things and trying to promote myself and find the right shows, but also network with the right people too. Because, you don't necessarily need music to network with people. You just got to have a presence too.
Sure.
And that was another, good piece of advice too. And I was like, I'm trying to get, more music out. He's like, well, you don't really need music. Just, show up, like make yourself known, like just be there. So they can put like basically a name to a face and not just be somebody who's constantly online.
Who? That's good advice. Who said that to you?
Joey B, actually.
Really? Yeah.
Joey B. I definitely learned a lot from him.
Yeah.
Just really great dude, great personable dude. If you ever have any questions, I definitely, again, just learned a lot from him.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude. One of the coolest dudes I've met so far, in the game right now. He's very humble, but, he's out to do his thing, and he's definitely doing it. He's out there right now, so definitely, give him a shout, check him out too. So
yeah. So, and now what's the ETA on the album?
I'm shooting for the album itself. I haven't really started anything. I have some things in the work as far as writing, some song ideas.
Okay, yeah.
That
so
kind of thing. Right now I'm just focusing on the mixtape, getting that out, which I'm shooting for the end of May. Again, I want to make sure everything's, set for that before I'm like, hey, guess what? It's out. It's coming. Yeah. And then, because I've seen people do that, like, it's coming. And then, 2 weeks before it's done, I got to push it back. And, I've learned from that too. And, I did something similar to with my first mixtape, and I kind of rushed it, and I was like, yeah, I'm ready to go, because I was just ready to put out music. Yeah. And then I was like, ready to go, and then I was like, no, wait, hold on, I gotta think about this. Okay, let me push it back a little bit. Yeah. But I'm just trying to be more prepared and be smart with it. Yeah. In the long run, and not just rush into it.
Sure.
And, just make more mistakes. I'm trying to progress.
Yeah, exactly. No, good for you. Well, let's play another track. What do you want to play?
The next one, again, is going to be off the mixtape. Another single that I'm going to be having coming out. Again, it's going to be a world premiere. It's called Dreams and Reality. It's actually off of the J. Cole Lights Please beat, so definitely check that one out. It's definitely one of my favorites off of that CD, too.
Cool. Dreams and Reality?
Dreams and Reality.
Okay. From Jay Faith here on Local Outbreak on IPM Nation.
Yeah, I was the pauper, waiting to be crowned, hoping and wishing that a dream will just come around. Knock at my door, certified bow and ribbon, gift for my vision, but the mind is competition. Tell you that you're nothing when you're really up and coming, put you in your place when you're really in the race. Notebook in my lap, I would master every track, lay it down on the Mac, stick it to 'em like a tap. People always always tell me you're the reason for my sunshine. Little do they know I'm still trying to find mine. Gotta make a change cause this money running from me. If you think that's all I think about, you funny dummy. At first I was afraid, no confidence in what I'm talking about. Now I give my all, so I'm something that they talk about. Tripping in the air, I'm the parrot on Captain's Hook. Devil on the right, so I hit him with a left hook. All I'm about to do is knuckle up, keep a tight grip. Tell my insecurities I'm sorry, but I won't quit. Hit or miss, keep the target right in my sight. Focus on today, not 2020 with the hindsight. Keep writing, keep singing, keep fighting, keep living. Lace up my shoes and just go for a ride. Windows down, just trying to survive. No time to hide, gotta swallow my pride. With dreams and reality start to collide. So I keep writing, keep singing, keep fighting, keep living. There's footprints on the moon, but the stars ain't got no fingerprints. Admitted into evidence, the verdict is my preference. Never for a second did I contemplate the consequence. When I reach the finish, do it against straight common sense. Putting thoughts to paper, Picasso in his prime. Optimist to optimist, I'm positive with every line. With all my shortcomings, looking up to the skyscrapers. David and Goliath with the odds in my favor. There's a type of dedication, hyper motivation needed to proceed until the day that I say that I made it. I say I'm the greatest. Before my head hit pavement, burn the concrete with these pages. Rest atop a pillow, my worries are having nightmares. Walk among the fog, but my vision make it quite clear. They tried to tame a live tiger in a pine box. Should've left the door closed when trouble knocks. The building blocks, so the building blocks were laid down. You got it twisted if you think I do it for the crown. This for the weak-hearted, this for the troubled souls. This for the bob you head if you feeling it till the speaker blows. Wrapped around the microphone, I hung my for myself. Labeled homicide cause the trigger was felt. Bang, no shame, no pain equals no gain. Now let it rain. Keep writing, keep singing, keep fighting, keep living. Lace up my shoes and just go for a ride. Windows down, just trying to survive. No time to hide, gotta swallow my pride. With dreams and reality start to collide. So I keep writing, keep singing, keep fighting, keep living. Lace up my shoes, so I keep writing. Then I keep singing, so I keep fighting. Then I'll keep living. Yeah, that's how we do.
Hey, what's up? It's Jay Faith on IPMNation.com. Be sure to catch me live on June 26th, my birthday, at Carlo Rose in Pelham, New Hampshire, for the Misery Loves Company Showcase. And the following day, June 27th, alongside the one and only Trev Rich, Joey B, Masterpiece, Kingpins, D-Tension, and many more at the Last and Safe Deposit in Lowell, Mass., hosted by DJ Slipwax. Be sure to get your tickets before they're sold out. Big thanks to everyone for their support, and we'll see you soon.
Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet. This is Matt from IPM Nation. We are, of course, at the studio at 50 Canal Street in downtown Laconia. Come on down and say hello if it's during business hours, of course. The StudioNH.com is the website. And again, thank you to Melissa for hosting us here every week for Local Outbreak. And, of course, we're sponsored by Central NH Events. Go to centralnhevents.com if you need a DJ for your event, your shindig, your hootenanny, whatever it may be. And Tim Martin does a great job. And, of course, Tweak Sound and Mastering, Mr. Matt Marcil in Concord, New Hampshire. TweakSound.com is the website to check him out. If you need some production, some engineering, he does a great job as well. And we have with us tonight Jay Faith. And so before we start to wrap up, tell us again where to go online to keep up with everything.
I have Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all those. Definitely SoundCloud. Check me out on those, Instagram and Twitter, J_Faith Official. You can find me on there, which has all the links to all my music pages, all that kind of stuff, so you can easily find me there.
Yeah.
I'm always putting up either new music, some old stuff that I put up, sharing other people's stuff, that I've either worked with or just, people that need to get out there and, just helping, other people, trying to make the come up.
Yeah, excellent. You got any shows or anything coming up, or are you just focusing on the recording right now?
I have one coming up May 30th.
Oh.
Believe it's going to be in Nashua. I'm still waiting on the details of it.
Okay.
It's going to be on a Saturday. Still waiting on the details of it as far as, what's going on with that, but
Sure.
that one's definitely one that's set in stone. Just kind of waiting on the finer details of it.
Cool. Okay. So everybody should keep an eye online for that. And this has been great. Thank you so much for coming in tonight.
Appreciate having me.
Absolutely. And what do you want to play to wrap up?
Last one's going to be Kyoto. I released that a little while back. It features T. Rich, another buddy of mine that I actually went to school with, was doing music. He's got a mixtape album out right now. Also just had a brand new baby, so congrats on that. Congratulations. Probably one of my favorite tracks, too. Just as soon as I heard the beat, I just immediately started writing. He had sent it to me. He was like, let's just work on this one. And as soon as the first just couple, beats came down, I was like, I have to do something on this.
Yeah.
And it was fun working on it. It was fun working with him on it. His verse is funny, but it's lyrical too. Just the way he put it down is a great track. I loved it, so definitely check that out too.
I have to ask, where does the name come from, Kyoto? Because when I saw that, my first thought was the Kyoto Treaty.
Kyoto, out in Japan and things like that, and I kind of formulated it off of just kind of my own place to kind of separate myself, and just be myself, kind of my own, just get away, do my own thing, I kind of just get back to my own, chi, my own zen, whatever you want to call it, whatever you believe in. And just kind of just get away and, just relax, whether it's, just doing my own thing.
Cool. All right, sounds good. Well, thank you again, and we're going to play that right now to wrap up. Thanks, everybody, for listening. This is Kyoto from J Faith here on Local Outbreak and IPM Nation.
I stay feng shui, live from my dojo. Konnichiwa, welcome to Kyoto. I'm living well, sipping wonton. High as Hayabusa, that's where I belong. Welcome to Kyoto. Welcome to Kyoto. I'm living well, sipping wonton. Damn, I'm high as hell, and that's where I belong. Konnichiwa. I woke up feeling blessed this morning. Got my yawn and stretch my wood flaunting. The night before away, you know what they say. Never go through life with a pause in it. I'm the cause of it. All y'all rappers losing jobs from the bars I spit. I'm the boss of this, like Rick Ross's click. Recognize, yo, I come with catastrophic. Meet your demise, ho. Can't see my grind. Open your eyes, bro. Progress my rhymes to rise like flies do. But if you been with me from the jump, then you know I get busy shaking chairs to a clump. Ripping far songs again, cause I know you're in a slump. For some reason, these dummies make money like what though? Yo, they couldn't see me even in a photo. And when I'm gone, you can find me in Kyoto.
Yo, I stay feng shui, live from my dojo. Konnichiwa, welcome to Kyoto. All's well, sipping wonton, high as Hayabusa, where I belong. Yeah, welcome to Kyoto. I said welcome to Kyoto. Yeah, come on. Hey, I sit back and watch the world spin, tripping off my own gin. How I call life, blazing till the room spin. Ain't a price that's never been paid. Withstood the heat, now I'm sitting in the shade. Rising from the ash, brush the coal off the shoulders. Wine into water, beauty to beholder. Can't let it take me, stronger than I used to. Struggles that I've been through will not be, but to find your place amongst all the stars. Choose your own freedom or be locked behind bars. This is my choice, let nobody else make it. The key to success, sometimes you gotta take it past the folk in a view. My style is my thing, like Jordan with the shoe when LeBron became king. New era, no snapback, cover up the hairline. Sky's no limit, sorry Continental Airline. Pause and just breathe, respirate and relate. Hold, line is gone cold. Create my own version of coercion. I'm learning that a step in the direction is immediate reflection of the man in the mirror. Windex till it's clear, wipe away the smear, show a new premiere. Laying in the cut, most of y'all don't notice me. Solid my apology for issuing my poetry piece.
IPMNation.com.
Hey, what's up? It's J Faith on IPMNation.com. Be sure to catch me live on June 26th, my birthday, at Carlo Rose in Pelham, New Hampshire, for the Misery Loves Company Showcase. And the following day, June 27th, alongside the one and only Trev Rich, Joey B, Masterpiece, Kingpins, detention, and many more at the Last and Safe Deposit in Lowell, Mass., hosted by DJ Slipwax. Be sure to get your tickets before they're sold out. Big thanks to everyone for their support, and we'll see you soon.